All right, Medius, what do you think?
Do I think support's easy? Mm, Mechanically, it's pretty easy, but I think it's like you can have the most impact out of like any role, I think, as support, just because you set up the vision. You basically just dictate the flow of the game.
Mhm.
A lot of times you're engaging, you're doing the vision game. The difference between having a good support and a bad support on the team is fucking massive.
Um, Damn, hold on. I got a donation and I want to respond to what you said at the exact same time. So I think that support is easy because that's all you do.
Support's so
You don't have to
fucking
think about
easy, dude.
you don't have to think about anything else. And I know like sport players are going to be like super upset, but literally like yeah, I mean you could ask tons of people about what they think about it. Like for example, when you're jungling, right? You have to think about engaging and making plays while also you're pathing where the enemy jungler is and like how to farm. Your champion mechanically is oftentimes like way harder to play than most supports. I guess like the real mechanical supports that you would say would be like Thresh, maybe like Nautilus or Blitzcrank because you really have to hit the hooks. But like, playing Rel, playing Leona, playing Alistar, uh yeah, not really too hard. I guess you could say the same thing about Udyr, but when like I think like a good meta involves like some pretty high skill champions. Yeah, Nautilus. Okay, maybe Nautilus is not the best example because it's like pretty forgiving. But
Forgiving, huh?
yeah, my opinion of support is really just it's the role on my team that I'm like most okay to have filled, even though I'm an AD carry. And the reason why is because there's only one thing you really have to do when you play support. It's like you have to lane okay, and then you just have to engage.
Well, I
You
think
have to know when
it's
it's okay to engage.
I mean,
That's it.
are you talking solo queue setting or a competitive setting?
I guess I'm talking about both. I don't
Because
think it changes that much in competitive, except for vision control.
I mean, vision control is like a pretty huge deal. Because I know when we were doing our Tyler One money match and we didn't have a support main on the team, like our vision was fucking terrible. No matter who was playing support, because it's one of those things. It's like it takes a lot of practice to actually know like the most effective places to get vision, depending on the game state. Like when you can actually go and get that vision. Like I don't think it's as easy as it might seem.
I think that mid laners have to do that while also playing mid lane, which involves like last hitting, farming, trading. You can't spend like 60% of laning phase in the bush.
What was the original reason this
I
discussion?
mean, my original discussion is like, I was just curious. I was actually making a joke, like that Huhi and Core switched to support and they're insane. But I do think there is some interesting discussion about like, is support actually the easiest role in the game? I think it is.
Oh,
I think it's like considerably easier than every other role in the game.
like what would even be the next easiest?
Mm, Depends on the skill set. Probably
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can
AD
just say
carry
one role
is.
is the easiest, because honestly, like I think like it's gonna maybe sound trolly, guys, but like I think there's definitely an argument that AD carry is the easiest role in the game because you need to know the least amount. Like you're pretty much always playing the same type of champion. You're using the like you have to be really good at a specific skill set, but you can have the most narrow skill set to play AD carry. Like you can just kind of farm and right click people, right? So it really depends like what kind of skills you're comparing.
Yes, I think just in overall, yeah, I do see it. It could be apples and oranges because with AD carry you need to be more mechanical, and you need to be a lot more aware of danger. While playing support, you need to be a lot more aware of like when it's dangerous for the enemy, and there's just different skills for sure. So
Yeah,
it could be
but I
weird
mean
to compare
the
apples
vision
to
control
oranges,
is kind
but
of
I think overall, if you just think about general skill level in the game, I would way rather. Okay, like here's like an interesting thought. Would you rather have a support main switch to another role or an AD carry main switch to support? I would way rather have the AD carry switch to support than the other way around.
uh yeah, sure. I think
Would
both
you
would be
rather
pretty
have a
bad.
jungler switch to playing support or a support play switch to playing jungle? Right? Like I would so much rather have the jungler who's like generally thinking a lot about the game, the flow of the lanes, like what would my jungler want to do, right? Like if I was playing jungle, I would want X, Y, and Z to happen because I think that's good for everyone. then I would way rather have that person switch to playing support than the support player go to jungle and not have a clue about like the overall game.
Well, I think that would be the part that would be up for discussion. It's like, do they really have no clue about the other stuff? Because I think that would be more of a problem, anyways, right?
Yeah,
I think you don't need to have a
it's-
clue to play support at a decent level.
I mean, there's also a discussion of like floor versus ceiling when you talk of like skill required, right? Because I would say support skill floor is a lot lower than some of the other roles, just because like,
Yeah.
the mechanics is not a big part. And granted, like mechanics, it really just depends how much you're weighing mechanics in the equation, right? Because like obviously mechanics are really important, but at the same time, like that's not really what supports are tested on. And I think that if you look at it as like the difference between a really good support and a really bad support, I think that would matter way more. Like two really good teams are playing against each other, right? And then you just sub out both supports. Like you give one team a good one team a shit one. I think the team that gets the better support will win almost every single time. Versus if you just switch out their AD carries, I think it wouldn't make a bigger difference.
Okay, I can see
Yeah.
that. Yeah, floor versus ceiling is a good topic. Yeah, I definitely see that. It's like in competitive, especially. I think you're totally right. Having the shittier AD carry barely matters.
Yeah, like you can carry a shitty AD carry, just put him in a good situation, like just let
Yeah.
him farm the whole game, put him on like Tristana, let him just fucking get 4 items in peace
Yeah,
and
like-
then be useful.
Yeah, like everyone can just jump in when the support says go. So yeah, I think that's a good point actually. Maybe I'm thinking too hard about the floor required to play support.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
dude,
the floor
mechanically,
is
like
pretty
you're
low.
100% right. Like I don't think anyone can debate that support's not the easiest to play mechanically, like support or jungle, right? Because like in both of those, you're not interacting with champions as directly. You don't have to worry about last hitting, which is a super hard part of the game. It just comes down to the other stuff, which is what those roles are actually really being tested on, and that stuff's not actually that easy. It's pretty hard to just learn all the different things because it'd be like, I mean, I don't want to be that guy who uses analogies for shit, but it's like a fighting game player versus a chess player, right? It's like, yes, chess is not a mechanical game. Like you're not really gonna fucking misclick your pieces ever, but I don't think
guess-
anyone thinks
Oh.
chess is easy.
No. I think like
Oh.
I think a better analogy is like because like let's say League. I would say like it's the same thing as comparing like overall athleticism between different sports. So like the athleticism of like an NBA player versus a tennis player versus like a an American football player. Because I value like I guess like, the whole idea is that you're talking about their overall ability to play League, which includes mechanics. Like I do value mechanics because 80% of the roles require pretty solid mechanics to play. So like just overall League skill is the like metric. It's hard to like value that or like measure that though because there's so many different aspects of it.
Oh, I mean, definitely, it's super hard to measure, and I think the skills that make someone good at jungling or even support are definitely much harder to measure than the skills that would make someone good at like a carry role, because they are very different. But and there's overlap too. It's not like they're playing two different games entirely. I just think that the thing that makes someone a good support player, whatever, is a lot of game knowledge, like just understanding what every role wants to do, what they're likely to do, how to get information to like tell which play they're going for, that sort of thing. And that's fucking huge, because if you know they're setting up for something and they don't know you know it, then a lot of times their play's just going to fail miserably. Versus if you just have zero information, everyone's just farming up for items, you're just getting caught off guard right and left. Like that just feels like shit. That's what bad teams are.
It's been determined. AD carry is the easiest role.
AD carry is easiest role confirmed. Confirmed.
Yep.
Just right
I think
click.
AD carry is. I mean, I'll fully admit it. AD carry is one of the most pointy roles in the game. Like the skills that you need to play AD carry are like, they are really specific to playing AD. Well, I think like playing the solo lanes is like more interchangeable, and you have like more overall knowledge of the game.
Yeah.
But anyway, at the super highest level, no one is ever gonna say that like Uzi, Teddy, and Deft are like not just amazing players at like the game. So yeah, maybe this is a pointless discussion because the ceiling for every role is fucking insane. The league is so hard to play.
Yeah, and I feel like my opinion is nobody's close to the ceiling for League.
Yeah.
I feel like 10 years from now, even if the game doesn't change drastically, you would still look back at what people do today and be like, "Holy fuck, we were
Yeah,
bad."
they're so bad compared to then. Dude, this reminds me of. Did you guys see Canyon's account on EOS when he was playing there for MSI?
It was like
Yeah.
rank 1, right?
Yeah, he's rank 1, and when you looked at his match history, he would just play top and mid like half of his games
Yeah,
in
he
the
was playing a
last
ton
20.
of Jace.
Yep.
Really?
He was just so good at the game. He got rank 1 in EOS playing off roll. It was like amazing to see someone so good.
Yeah,
Um,
that's pretty insane.
I was so impressed. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that where you're just like, wow, what a fucking just a great player.
What a legend.
A legend.